still the same. FOYER.
Best us work for you. Look, man, I'm a youngster. Best represent dance, man, cause I ain't rock every culture. Painting, acting, build a logo like TP. This today, I'm grinding hard. I want M's, no Illuminati. Putting in this work, yeah, digging up this dirt. Yeah. My homie, you better be watching this. The moment is dope, how we running it. Tune in the FOYER, my homie, I'm popping like all I'm a coach.
Welcome to the FOYER, where creativity is contagious, so we pass it on. Today we have Lindo with us, and he is from Lindo's Eyes Photography. Hi Lindo.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm well, thanks.
Okay, so please tell us about yourself. Who is Lindo's Eye Photography?
Lindo is Umkaya. I'm from Mpangeni, in the rural area called Wesagabiela Obuga. That's where I grew up, but my mom lives in town, so I sort of studied in the rural area and studied Mpangeni fruit. My high school was Aquadine Secondary School, so and the love for photography actually came because I was forced to do photography. Didn't want to give me money. So she got a voucher. She works at the casino. She got a voucher to buy anything she wants. And using that voucher, she bought me a camera. And what she said, this camera to make your own money. I'm not gonna give you pocket money. I was 11 or 12, so I was just going into high school. So I started doing photography back then. But during that time, photography was just simple. It was straightforward. You shoot pictures using a power shot camera that is called a power shot. It doesn't have lenses, different lenses. You just zoom using that lens, and you shoot on auto mode. And the only thing you learn is composition and other things, and you print pictures at Kodak or other places. So there's no editing, there's nothing else. It's just printing the pictures, and how you charge, you are charging based on the number of pictures you take. So I'll make sure that in a gig I will take more beautiful pictures so that people will like them, and I'll print those. So that's where photography started, and then I stopped in matric because there was Blackberries that came in, and Blackberries were stealing our customers, and so I stopped. And I went to university. I studied environmental science, and I studied honors in ecological science, and I studied masters in ecological science. I'm now doing my PhD. That's Lindo. Thank you.
You mentioned that you started photography as a joke when we arrived.
Yeah.
So please tell us more about that. And also, please tell us how you came up with the name Lindo's Eye.
Okay. Yes, I started photography as a joke because it was a joke from my mother's side. And she actually bought a camera for family, and I was supposed to take pictures of family and stuff. So it started like that. But it's a joke in the second coming of Lindo's Eye in 2019 or 2018, when I started doing photography again. I mentioned that I'm doing my PhD, so I spend a lot of time in the field. I spend a lot of time in Drakensberg. So I was taking pictures using that same camera, using that old power shot, no lens. You don't change lenses there. So I started taking pictures, landscape photography. So I went into learning what is actually photography and how it works. So after learning, I realized there were ways to edit pictures and make them pop. I will edit those pictures, post them, and then one day I realized I'm only posting them on my personal page. I might actually make money using this. So I started a page. When I had to start a page, I didn't know what to call it, but I knew it was what fascinated my eyes. So, and I'm Lindo. So that's how Lindo's Eye came about. I actually posted it on my WhatsApp. I asked people, should I call it Lindo's eye, Lindo's lens, or Lindo's blah blah blah? And there were two different logos that I wanted to use, and people actually chose Lindo's eye, and they said it actually works well.
Okay, that's very interesting. So you mentioned that you consulted your audience before you named your brand, right? So I just wanted to know, is your photography influenced by the audience that you have, or is there something else that's influencing your photography?
Yes and no. So it's influenced by people because it's photography is a way I show people's emotions. For me, I didn't actually want to go into photography, the side of humans. I used to say I don't like to shoot humans because humans are too much. But I realized humans are actually kind. By helping me choosing a name, I was like, humans are kind. Let me go back to them. But yes, they influence a lot of my decisions in photography. A lot of my style in photography is influenced by my clients. I make sure that the product is what the client wants, but also the passion, my love for photography is what driving it.
Okay, so earlier you mentioned Ugusi, you went to Empangeni for a high school year, right? So tell me, how was high school for you? And were you interested in photography when you were in high school? Or did your interest come about after your mother brought you Ikamel?
Yes, my mom actually bought me a camera when I was starting high school at Hellow to high school. That's where I did my grade 8 and grade 9. Hellow too, that's where I had clients because it's a rural school and people didn't have cameras. So back then I was doing both iskole and shoot. And then when I went to a more semi-modern school, there were no white people. They were just colored. But at least I saw people that were different. And this is cool. So yeah. So there abantu abaningi babe-rich benama-BlackBerry nanani yabo. So I didn't work a lot, but isikole sasingiqasha mengabe kunama small functions, ikhona ithombe engangishutha and khona abantu ababazi ukuthi ngiyashutha. So and they knew that I had a camera, so they will hire me. So at high school ngangisengiyenza vele photography.
Okay, and what type of photography do you do?
My interest is landscape photography. Because I did say I'm a scientist.
Yes.
I spend a lot of time in beautiful places like the Drakensberg. So I document a lot of my travels there using photography. But when it comes to actual documentation of emotions, I do events. I do a lot of events. Like that's where most of our income comes from. Events photography. But the end goal for me as Lindo, the end goal is to do infant photography because that's a niche that is not fully taken by people.
When it comes to photography, different photographers are interested in different editing apps. So as Lindo, which app are you most comfortable with and which one do you use?
Okay, I use two of them. I use Photoshop and I use Lightroom. But I'm mostly comfortable with Lightroom. Because I did say most of our clients, most of our income come from event photography. So there you have a lot of pictures, like more than 1,000 pictures. And you have to use a software that remembers your previous edits. So I use Lightroom a lot and I'm more comfortable with it.
So how much do you charge? What is your minimum price for a shoot?
500.
Okay, and which age group do you find it easiest to work with?
Kids.
Why?
because I can make them laugh. And I always have should I tell that to people? I always have suits in my camera bag for kids. I enjoy shooting kids because they're hard to work with, but I have a way with kids.
Okay, so earlier you mentioned that you work with a team, right?
Yes.
So who is your team and what are their roles?
Okay. When I started, like we spoke before this interview, that we started it, or I started it as a joke.
Yeah.
So I just jumped in. So I didn't know how much to charge and how to make a photo book, how to talk to clients, and how to deal with the whole business side of photography. I just knew I can shoot. And I realized after my first gig, or after asking for a loan from my mom, after asking for a loan to buy equipment because I needed a good camera, so I asked for a loan from my mom, and I bought a camera. It arrived on the 8th of April 2019, and that was a day where Lindo's eye photography literally started, because I took the camera. It arrived around 5 and I took it and I charged it. I went straight to the graduation, UKZN graduation. I found my way in, I found a ticket and I went in. I wasn't allowed to be inside, but I ended up shooting and I was kicked out. But the pictures that I got that day, I edited them that night and posted them. So to answer your question, my team, I had to get a team after, because I was getting people that wanted to book me and they wanted someone who do video also. So that was the biggest problem, because I didn't know how. I did know how to do a video, but I had one camera. I couldn't do video and photography. So I had to search around people that were already sort of established. I contacted people and I got guys called Lindo Lifestyle. They were dormant at that time. So we were told my clients and I went to them and I was like, I have a strategy to get clients. Do you want to work with me? And they were like, how are we gonna pay each other? I was like, we'll figure it out later on. Let's just jump in. And we got the gig in June. And after that gig, we managed to iron up things, draft contracts. We work together now. They are more like under Lindo's eye, but they still have their company functioning. But I've managed to recruit other people into Lindo's eye photography, like my good colleague and friend Shawula, that he started early 2020 with me, and I literally made sure he likes photography and he likes video more. So I literally tried to teach him, but a lot of learning comes from Googling and doing a lot. But I did teach him and exposed him to the industry, and now we work together. We both own a share to the company.
So what exactly do you want to say with your photography, and how do you get that message across?
I did mention my photography is divided into two. I actually have 2 pages on Instagram and Facebook. So there's Lindo's Eye Landscape Photography. That's where I show my creativity more, and then as a photographer. And then there is Event, where we document emotions. So basically that's what I want to do. Even when I'm doing a photo shoot, we have a way to make the client enjoy the shoot itself, and we have a way to make sure that the client shows true emotions during the photo shoot. We don't want things to be fake, so we try to. That's why I said I like to work with kids, because kids are easy. Once you get them smiling, they will show you true emotions, and that's basically what we want to do, showing people's emotions and documenting them.
Okay, so also, when you hear the word photography, you think of still images, but I know you also mentioned videos, you also mentioned photo books. So tell us, what services do you offer and what are your packages if you have any?
Yes. Okay. We offer like basically anything a client wants. So we do anything because we've worked with departments, we've worked with Santago, we've worked with events people. So we've done clubs. It depends what a person wants. So we for our packages, for event photography packages, we provide a photo book, mostly an A4 made premium photo book, but it depends what the client wants. If you want something else, we give you that. And we give out canvases. The size depends on the client's pocket. and we also give you all digital pictures edited. And then what do we offer? Yes, we offer a video too. So we also do videography. So we have drones, we have video equipment, lights, and everything.
That sounds very good and very interesting. Okay, so earlier you also mentioned, Uguti, you went to a graduation and invited. That takes a lot of guts, right? So would you say now you have a deliberate strategy that you follow, or do you just go with the flow?
I have a strategy.
Okay.
And I had a strategy back then. The strategy was show people what you can do. That's why I went to shoot for free and post my pictures at night, because I wanted people to see that what is it that I'm capable of. And what I do now is I connect with people who get clients first, and those are events. What do you call these people? Event planners and the decor people and stuff. And there is one person I actually wanna thank a lot. Shoes Greenleaf. Mom Shoe. Mom Shoe. Shame. We are actually here, or I'm here as Lindo's Eye Photography because of her. We have a long working relationship. She liked my work because I also went there to her place at Greenleaf, and I took pictures of the location, and she didn't believe it was her location. Yeah, Nobab Shubuge ended up liking our work, and they give us a lot of clients.
Okay, and I know that you are booked practically every single weekend, right? So when you are booked that much, you are bound to work with horrible clients and amazing clients. So please tell me, what was your worst and best client experience?
I like the fact that you didn't ask who was the worst client because I wasn't going to disclose that. But worst clients are those that do not abangasigcina isikhathi shame, because till now our packages our pricing depends on time. So how much time we spend there, it would determine how much time we spend editing and everything. So sebenza ngesikhathi.
Yeah.
So uma ungasigcina ngesikhathi already we are shy at lokho. But the worst client was actually during a photo shoot, not even an event. I've had clients that are horrible during events, but it's usually during events. It's usually not the actual client that paid you, but malume what I was saying, go cameraman. We actually not cameramen, photographers. But shoot those kind of things. If you want to be creative, they do not help. But India Shaga Kulu or Eyang Chamna Kulu was during a photo shoot. A client came late and didn't see why is it a problem to figure late. Why spoke for an hour, why figure 1 hour and 30 minutes late. So we had cancel it, and we had other clients after that. So some client and postpone some Linda, but akabonanga ukuthi wrong ngalokho. Uyabona nje why demand izinto ufuna ngazuthi izinto engenzeka ngendlela, but we've managed to work with people like that, but that was the worst experience there.
Okay, mentioning worst experiences, and You know, I get what you're talking about. Time is money, actually. Okay, so talking about your worst experiences and working events and having labo malume who are telling you to do what they want you to do at that specific time. Would you say that that is the worst part of working events, or do you have other things that affect you when you are working events?
The one key thing that we always discuss with my partner, Shawula, partner is a business partner, not. Yeah, business partner, Shawula, my friend and colleague.
Mhm.
Yes. So it is the fact that we get booked, like we have bookings now, confirmed booking for December.
Yeah.
So there are dates that are already taken in December. If my friend or other friend or family members do something in that day, I can't attend that. So that's the big no for event photography, is that you can't, people have to sort of tell you in advance so that you cancel off that event. And sometimes when they tell you, ukuthi no, sizoba nento ethile ekhaya ngosuku olukuthi, and then they cancel off, so I canceling my client and you're mad at them that you're losing money on that day. So it's the planning part of it is hectic.
Okay, and what type of event would you never do?
No, I love money. I love money. Everything. Any shoot, any kind of work that pays money, I'll do it.
Okay. So, what is your best experience?
The best experience was okay. I have a lot of those.
Just mention one.
I have clients that have been with me ever since when I started. When I had like a camera with no speed light, no lights, nothing, and they always make sure that they hire me. And literally, I have a client that I shoot every month. But the best experience during, okay, I'll mention two. During an event photography, there was this one gig where we actually finished before time. Everything went smooth. It was, I loved them. I can't mention their name, but I loved them. And then the best experience is always shooting with kids. So there's this client of mine that documents growth of her kid, child, Ingane, who Jerry taught. So she's amazing. I like shooting her.
Okay, so working in Pietermaritzburg has a lot of challenges, especially when you are a creator.
Yes.
What are some of the challenges or the difficulties that you face as a creative in Pietermaritzburg?
Money. People don't want to pay. People think about photography 3 days after, 3 days before the event. So they plan everything else, pay a lot of money for those things, and then they think that, okay, we have to document this also. So I think we still have a lot of education to do around the photography itself, because people think, I know, I'll just ask my friend on an iPhone, I shoot it, whereas it doesn't work the same. This is work, this is talent, and this is skill that goes into documenting people's emotion. So one key thing that happens is people do not like to take photography serious. And I think one other thing is we as photographers in PNP do not know each other, and we do not communicate to each other, so that we make people that have similar kind of work ethic and product and good pictures charge relatively the same amount of money. Because in photography you get what you pay for. You get a guy that says, I'll do your event for 200 rand. But umsebenzi wakhe awukho. But umuntu uzothi noma usisi ka-anti unomfana oshutha uzosenzela lento ngemali encane yabo, whereas when you are actually cheaper. So into engizama ukuyichaza ukuthi I'm not sure, maybe it's my ignorance. Maybe there are committees that are there where photographers engage, but I think it would be great if photographers engage mostly on a local level, where we discuss and come up with prizes, fair prizes for our clients, and how do you give a client a discount? Because there's always ways to give a discount. If a client books you for more than 5 times or something, how can we make that a uniform thing to all photographers?
Okay, and professionally, what is your goal for 2021?
As a photographer or as a scientist?
Let's stick with photography for now.
Okay, as a photographer, I just wanna have a studio. We wanna have a studio. We can have a studio, but the problem with the studio is you have to have someone working there. So and staying there, and you have to pay rent and other things. So if your clients are not guaranteed, and if you're getting a lot of clients from events like myself, so you end up don't see a lot of need for a studio. So that's why we sort of delayed having a studio, but we see a need for that because there are niches that we want to fill. So if before the end of 2021 we have a fully functioning studio, that would be great.
Please tell us what message you'd like to give young photographers that are at home, who have talent, who have the skills that are necessary, but they have no inspiration to start their own businesses.
I think I have 2 messages. Okay. First, just start with what you have. The hardest part is starting. So once you've started, then kuba lula ukuthi ukwazi ukuqhubeka and use the money you make, or use the experience you gain to buy equipment, because you need equipment. So start with what you have, show people what you're capable of doing, because photography is more of a skill and talent as opposed to good equipment. Good equipment takes you up, but the second part is try to seek internships or seek to align yourself with people who totally experience. Okay, we currently have 2 interns, so we're not taking more now, but and see, right. We said what sets us apart is kindness, and so right now.
So to wrap it all up, please give us our social media handles wenu and
Lindo's Eye Photography. So it's at Lindo's Eye Photography. That's Instagram. Facebook, Lindo's Eye Photography. But the video team that I work with, it's at Umsindo Lifestyle, Facebook. And
so we have just been joined by Shawula, who Lindo has been referring to this whole interview as Shawula. Hi, Mr. Shawula.
Hello, everybody.
How are you doing?
Hi. I'm well, thanks, and yourself?
We are good. So, introduce us to yourself. Who is Ungoskona Shawula?
Okay, Ungoskona Shawula, but everybody calls me by my surname because I have a nickname. Yeah. But I would like to say I'm one of those behind the scenes silent partners. No, I'm joking. No. Yeah. Koskona Shawula, we are in a partnership with Lindo. Lindo was the person who basically started the business. So because I was procrastinating and as was but eventually I could say okay, no, this is the place I need to be.
Okay, so earlier Lindo told us he started photography as a Sembangin, right? When he was still in high school. Mm-hmm. So please tell us about when you decided to join the business.
Okay, so for me, ngiqale shooting ngaleso sikhathi I was still preoccupied by my profession. So isikhathi nanokunto uyithatha kancane abantu uzoyithatha kancane ungayithathi serious. But umfowethu ngabona ke when eseqalile that's okay, no, actually this we can do, because sasikhuluma, you know, when you talk about something funa shoot kanje, but because I'm not as positive thinking as Lindo, but ngagcina ngami ke sengixhuma ke sengibona ukuthi kuhamba ngendlela. So to answer your question, it was December 2019.
Okay, so we know that you guys work together and you collaborate on most of the things that you do, right? So what are the challenges that you face working with Lindo?
Okay. Firstly, we have a very good relationship. Communication is right. So the words I have to we are in communication is right. But with anything, I've got my challenges. For instance, we are two different individuals, so we have different mindsets or ideas. So sometimes a compromise has to be made from one side or the other. So yeah, it's a challenge sometimes, but we quickly overcome it because and come to a conclusion.
Okay, so earlier you mentioned Uguti, you have a different career, right? You have something that you're doing outside of Lindo's photography. So do you mind telling us more about that and how it influences your role in the business, in Lindo's eye?
Okay. My career, okay. Currently I'm a geospatial scientist intern. Okay, I deal with images at work, satellite imagery, but it doesn't necessarily relate, but I have a love for images.
Okay, and Lindo mentioned Uguti goal for 2021 is to have a studio for the business. Do you share the same goal or do you have a different one?
No, most definitely. We sometimes don't sleep at night talking about it, thinking of what setup is what we need, when to start. So it's at the top of our heads very much because we've been losing a lot of clients to Leandro Tasnas That's it. Do you have a studio? Since I know, but pictures pan here are beautiful.
Thank you for joining us, Shawula. And for our viewers, if you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time.
And guys, you get what you pay for.
Okay, thank you.
I know that's right.